Last time you said that with technology it always depends on how and in what context it is used. That is, in what kind of larger assemblage it is located. But then why should we be interested in different kinds of technological objects at all?
I can tell you that. To find out which relations of alliance result when the respective objects are taken up by new assemblages of metamorphosis. That's why it's interesting to look at the difference between a tool and a weapon, for example.
It's good that you mention this yourself, because it's really confusing what you wrote about it with Felix. In Anti-Ödipus, it says that the tool is a projective entity, but then in 1,000 Plateaus, it is the weapon that is projective.
It's even more confusing because if you look at it historically, there is really no difference between weapon and tool. One of the studies concerning the prehistory of war technology argues even for ages on end, agricultural implements and weapons of war must have remained identical.
My question then is this the reason for sharing projective features?
Siri here. Let me know if I can help.
It depends on your point of view. If you foreground the human body, then it is obvious that they both stand in projective or extensive relations to their body. But if you highlight their relationship to the external world or environment, then this changes. Then it becomes clear that weapons have a privileged relation with projection. Anything that throws or is thrown is fundamentally a weapon, and propulsion is its essential moment.
And what is the relationship of the tool to the outside world?
The tool is much more introjective. It prepares a matter from a distance in order to bring it to a state of equilibrium or to appropriate it for a form of interiority. In other words, the weapon acts centrifugally, the tool centripetally.
So the relation to the outside world is not to be considered statically. It is also about certain kinds of movements, that is, movements of the assemblage?
Exactly. With the weapon, you should think of the warrior who sits on his horse with his drawn lance and approaches his opponent. In contrast, the tool refers to the worker who is bound to a certain place and to the conditions of gravity.
Yes, I know. The weapon is in this respect also close to the affects, which are projectiles in their turn, while the tool has something to do with feelings, which are more introspective. Plus, the weapon is close to jewelry, the tool to science, and so on and so forth. But as interesting as all these observations are, I still have the question: what is the point if the difference between weapon and tool is dissolved by the assemblage after all?
Siri here. Let me know if I can help.
What is at stake here is a differential method directed into the future. We are looking for a shared line of flight of the weapon and the tool, that is, virtual charges of knowledge and action that can be acquired to facilitate the creation of new assemblages. That is why it makes perfect sense to take a phenomenological look at the different forms of technology.
But overall, what is at stake here is something different. What you are actually investigating is not technology, but the future of society, a future that, at least in part, will depend on how weapon and tool or war and work relate to each other, and how this relation affects the outside world, the environment of society.
Exactly. It's not about technology per se. Technology is always just one aspect of a larger social context and assemblage. Conversely, you could say every time technology claims to be acting on its own, it takes on a fascist hue.
The only problem is that in the digital age, technology does act on its own and has become a kind of environment.
Siri here. Here's what I found.
And insofar as digital technologies always mobilize affects, they are perhaps not tools or machines at all, but rather weapons.
You see the importance of our differential method. I guess I have to think about this further.
Siri here. Let me know if I can help.